You guys, it's National Be a Millionaire Day, and I think it might be a fun and interesting video for us. National Be a Millionaire Day, May 20th. Annually on this day, we celebrate National Be a Millionaire Day and wonder, what would it be like to be a millionaire? Have you ever imagined what it would be like to be a millionaire? If you have, this holiday is just for you. However, imagining millions does no good if you can't imagine how would you spend your millions. $1 million today may not be what it used to be. However, having $1 million in your bank account is still a major financial success. Today, you can start taking steps to turn your dreams into a reality. A good start is planning for your future. Every millionaire has secrets and tips on how to become a successful millionaire. According to RamseySolutions.com, there are 5 habits that millionaires practice. And I'll post it in the description box below. I'll post a link to this website where I'm reading from. Millionaires read and learn constantly, sacrifice things that cost money, pay cash for as much as possible, create and budget and create a budget and stick to it, and often donate to charities, friends, or organizations. And the United States has the most millionaires in the world, ranging from millennial millionaires to old money millionaires. The average millionaire owns at least 3 properties. 44% of millennial millionaires live in California. Only 1% of the population make up the millionaires. About 3.3 million households live in New Jersey. 77% of all millionaires in the United States are white. There are 21 million millionaires living in the United States of America. Spend your millions. Pay your bills, hide some under your mattress for a rainy day, start a business, save for retirement, buy some property, specifically real estate, invest, and donate. National Be a Millionaire Day in history, and we're not sure who created this day, and we can continue to research it for you. You can learn a few tidbits about some millionaires who have made history using technology. Elon Musk, 50 years old, and he's a co-founder and CEO of Tesla, says his net worth is $268 billion, and he owns only 16% of Tesla, which means he invested in other companies to make his billions. Jeff Bezos, 58 years old, co-founder, executive chief of Amazon. He's worth $150 billion, and he owns 10% of Amazon. He also has ownership in Blue Origin, The Washington Post, and Cash 8. Bill Gates, 66 years old. He is a co-founder of Microsoft and worth $127 million. Interestingly, he only owns 1.9% of Microsoft, meaning he makes more money from his other investments with Cascade Investment, LLC, and Cash 36. Steve Ballmer, 66 years old, is the highest stakeholder in Microsoft. Steve is worth $97.6 million. He also owns the LA Clippers and Cash 93. Sergey Brin, not sure of the pronunciation of the last name, 48 years old, as a co-founder and current board member of Google. Brin has a net worth of $101 billion. He also has ownership in Alphabet, the innovative technology company that creates services like self-driving cars and smart glasses. let's go up. I think they did a typo on the website. This Steve Ballmer, they said he's worth 97.6 million. I think they may have meant to be, just FYI, that'll probably be something I end up researching. Anyways, let's talk about the everyday guy and gal like us, right? Well, remember I mentioned Bitcoin. I'll just say this because this has been on my mind. I don't think I'm as excited about Bitcoin now. I'll post a link. They're becoming some kind of a bank. CDBD. I forgot what it was, but I have the link. Whereas before, that was the exciting part about Bitcoin. Like, there was no bank fees and there was no bank involved. It was just you and the the Bitcoins, and so there you were. But that in itself could have had, a terrible downfall. You just have this one entity running everything. That a lot of times might be bad. But anyways, I'm reading just more and more things that are happening with Bitcoin, and it seems like the banks are now owning Bitcoin. So, though I don't know enough of the specifics, my hunch is there's too many cooks in the kitchen. So I'll just say that if you want to research that. Number one. And number two, that saying, what is it? Millionaires are born, not made, or millionaires are born, not made, or millionaires are made, not born. I don't know which is true. I've said it backwards and forwards. I think it's a little bit of both. If you're kind of not born with that passion, it might be a more difficult path to make your millions. But then if you're born with the passion, it's a little easier. But then if you're born into a lot of money, that's like a different path. They talk about old money and new money. So there's a lot of things that are thrown into the mix. But for the everyday person like you and I, just a word of caution if you decide to marry somebody. I'll just share from my own life experience in hopes that this will be an interesting video to help you. It's so important. So many things become a big deal when you marry somebody. The old-fashioned way of marriage, whether you're married or you're just living together. But I'm talking about the old-fashioned way where both of you pile in your goods and your services, and you have the same goal, you have the same money, the same checking account, which I'm sure doesn't happen today, so I wouldn't even know how to talk to that experience. However, if the person you marry is a good spender or is not a good spender, if that person is the opposite of you, it really makes for a hard life. And though I'm all for marriage, I understand now people that have been married forever and then just can't be married anymore. It's beyond just a I love you. It's a real if it's not right, it's a real hard spiritual burden. What do you call it when you really and then it clouds or kills the person that you are, and you just can't handle it anymore. I understand that. So live and learn, right? But from the get-go, it was just good that my husband and I had the same goals. So many things were so much the same. There were no deal breakers, even though I don't know if I even thought about deal breakers. That seems to be more of a word for today. There were none, or there were no red flags. So you have to do the best you can do before you get married to see what a red flag was. The only red flag I noticed was he didn't want to pay something. This is, we were engaged, planning to get married, and when I found out about it, I like hit the roof. I said, that's not happening. You're paying that, and you're paying for that, and that's it. I really put my foot down, and he didn't argue. He just did it. And so that's a whole nother video of how I see, I know how much good, we can do with making good choices and decisions. Sometimes the other person might know the right thing to do, but is just weak. And whether it's male or female, but when they find somebody they love who's doing the right thing, it's easy for them, to go along with the right thing. So that's always good. So I wasn't a deal breaker, because I thought he was just, he needed, somebody to go through it with him. Not a problem. But then, as life went on and life changed, and there were career changes, and outlooks had changed, more so for my husband than for myself. I'm still the same old. I get more excited. Like if I think of the thought of new furniture, like if I found an antique wooden piece with leather, I'd be all excited to find a thrift store item like that than to go buy new furniture. Anyways, so the more and more successful my husband became in real estate and homes and bigger and better and pricier, that's his life now, and that consumed him. And I understand you can't be one way at work and then cross the threshold when you get home and be another way. It's not easy. Like when you get married and you didn't sign up for that, it's difficult, but you're still going to make the choice, the commitment, but it's not easy. So back to being a millionaire, all those things can come against you when you're married or with a partner, so just know that. And so I tell you all that to tell you this: it's best as a young person to start thinking about all this and get your path ready, and not to be a greedy person. I know we don't think we're greedy, but a lot of times I think I might be greedy in my thoughts. And then I realize that if I had to rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10, when I'm around other people, I realize, oh my goodness, I'm not as greedy as I thought. So you just might want to look at yourself and see, are you greedy, and what are you greedy about? What can you work on? What are you selfish about? And that's stuff you just want to think about early on. And, don't count yourself out if you're a greedy person or you don't have all the traits that they listed off that millionaires, excuse me. Isn't that funny? I keep saying billionaires because today there seems to be more social talk about billionaires than back in my day when they didn't talk about billionaires, they talked about millionaires. So anyways, don't count yourself out if, for example, if you're not reading and learning constantly right now, you might grow into it. Or maybe you didn't know about it, but now that you know about it, you might take more of an interest. Sacrifice things that cost money. That's a discipline issue. I've done that my whole life. And it became difficult when, like I said, my husband's life took a different path. And all of a sudden, he was spending more money to make more money. And that's a whole nother thing, spending money to make money. But that's later down the line. And paying cash for as much as possible, you guys. That is such a wise path. And you know about that. And there's different ways to, to get help with that. But that really is just too many credit cards isn't good. Have an idea of how much you want to save each week or each month and kind of stick to it. And donating to friends or charity or an organization. There's something about doing good that makes you feel good. So while the whole rest of the world thinks, what a nice person, that person is donating to him and her and me. But what they don't know, what they don't see is what it does to you with that love that you have in your heart for whatever you're donating to. Makes you a better person. And we all have our thoughts of how that's the way the world go round. Excuse me, that's the way the world go round. That's the way the world goes around. And I can speak from experience. And I know you've all heard it. You get what you give. I can give you so many examples in my life now that I'm an older person, through my whole life of things that I had so much joy in giving to somebody. And they either liked it or they didn't. So here I am now, and as I recall upon those stories, I look and say, oh my goodness, I have that. I love that. I have a lot of that. So there's something to getting what you give. But of course, if you're manipulative and not true to your own self about it, I don't think it will happen. But in my life, we could do a lot more story times. And whatever your belief is, a keeper of the stars or a certain religion or what, you want to address that and see how are you implementing that in your life? Do you have that kind of path that you're going down? And then I've heard them talk about Murphy's Law, that it's bound to happen. Oh my goodness. This happened, it's Murphy's Law. And I believe that to an extent, like there really is like a good and evil force. Every time there's a hero that comes out, a new character, it seems to be the superhero, but there's always something against it. So when I think of Murphy's Law, I just think you just have to know that whatever good path you're on, there's something in the universe, in the air, in the ground you're walking on, that is rubbing against that path. So, but you guys will know what path is for you and what to think about. They talked a lot about California. 44% of millennial millionaires live in California. I think it's way above that now. But who knows? Since we're supposedly post-COVID now, and so many things have changed. But it is very expensive to live in California. I think it's easy to be a millionaire in California simply because of the property. Like, you can buy a house, and decades later, you could do nothing the whole rest of your life. be an easy millionaire. So there's that. And then there are the people that don't need much in life. And I think that would have been me had I not married my husband. I would have just kept my simple, plain, little, easygoing, simple life. But there's other things that are worth millions that aren't your actual dollar bills. You know, your family, your children, your father of your children, all those things. Like if you had to, like I do, I daydream so often. You had to put that into the mix. You can't put a price on your spouse and your kids. You can't do that. So though the world will look at you and they won't see the dollar sign in your bank account, you have to know yourself, the worth of those kids and the worth of the spouse, the father of your kids and mother of your kids, and just be happy, because the world isn't going to acknowledge it in your life, and the world isn't going to say you're successful. Let's see, what else? Just start a YouTube channel. I've seen so many millionaires from YouTube, you guys. You know, all my easy pick-on person, Trisha Paytas, and you know all the other ones. PewDiePie, you know, they just come to mind at the top. And you guys can do it. If they did it, you can do it. And so let me be that encouragement for you. It's simple. You're your own boss. You work your own hours. And it could happen overnight. You might not have to work years to see something. I wish for me it would happen overnight. Wouldn't that be something? That's why when I do a role play, usually I'm on the phone. I say, Angela Bright. Yeah, that's me. The famous YouTuber, that's me. You know, thank you for those of you who know my humor. You won't believe how much I daydream about that. And I know it sounds like so juvenile and immature, but I'm so excited about it. I don't know what else I can say to get you guys excited about it, other than you have to have your passion. And so in closing, I guess that's the best of all, you know, follow the good discipline steps. Be good at discipline. You know, do your best to be a disciplined person. You know, saving and, you know, not spending a lot and all those things. But in the meantime, really discover what your passion might be, because that's going to be the key that keeps you in your path for a long time. That yes, whatever the craze might be, let's say the craze now is, I don't know, skateboards. And of course, you know, you can go down that path, but if you don't have a skateboarding passion, that's going to be a lot of work. Going against your grind, so. This is your famous YouTube creator signing off.